I am Carolyn Byers, the Education Director at Madison Audubon, and today I am very excited to be here to teach you a little bit about how to draw birds on a bird feeder. So living, breathing, moving, twitching, flying away birds. It'll be fun, I promise. So usually I am teaching kids and adults in our community. So I spend a lot of time at schools and community centers near Madison, Wisconsin. And I visit about 200 to 300 kids every week. And I can't do that right now, of course. So instead, we're trying to spend as much time putting lessons online as we can, because people need nature now more than ever. Nature calms us, it grounds us, it gives us a space to relax, and it helps us de-stress a little bit, frankly. So you can find all of our online content at madisonaudubon.org. And our new content specifically for this time is on a page called Safer and Funner at Home. Our governor wants us to be safer at home, so our page is called Safer and Funner because funner is better. And there you can find all kinds of games and activities and lessons, mostly for kids, but there are a lot that are, a lot of adults have said they've liked too. And if you're here because you want to learn how to draw, there's also a whole page about nature journaling and how to get started on that, and some tips to make it easier and more fun. So once again, you can find that at Safer and Funner on our Madison Audubon webpage, and we'll put a link in the comments for that. So today, of course, we're doing live drawing of birds. And the things you're going to need are paper. I'm using computer paper. And a pencil or a pen, whatever your tool of choice is. I'm going to be using some charcoal pencils today because they're just a little bit thicker and darker, easier for you to see. You don't even need birds because I'm going to share my screen and we're going to use the Cornell live feeder cams. Cornell has a lot of the bird lab at Cornell, of course. They have a lot of really, really awesome resources. And a few that I've been using a lot lately are all their webcams. They have some nest cameras set up on, I think there's a red-tailed hawk nest, a barn owl, barred owls. They even have an albatross nest in New Zealand that I've really been loving. It's a very big chick. It's very fun. But they have some cameras on their bird feeders in Ithaca, New York. And that's what we're going to use today. And if you have bird feeders outside, I do too. That's wonderful. You can use those. But I figured we should use something that was a sure bet today. All right. So drawing birds from life can be really hard. They move around a lot, way more than a lot of other species do. And of course, it depends on the species of bird you're looking at. You know, ducks and geese, they can be very still when they're loafing around on the side of a riverbank or a pond. But when you're talking about birds like chickadees and blue jays and nuthatches, they move around. So it can be challenging and frustrating. And I don't want you to stress about that, okay? Because this should be fun, and it should be mostly a way to help you observe the birds more and notice more than you usually would. That's one of the reasons I love drawing things, whether it's plants or landscapes or birds. It really helps me focus on what I'm seeing. And, if I'm looking at it just as a birder, I might just identify it or try to figure out what it's doing. But if I'm looking at that bird as an artist, I see different things. Like I see proportions a little bit more exactly. And I look at the way the colors are playing against the shadows that are falling on it. It's just a different way of looking at the world, which I love. Okay, so we're going to start out by doing some gesture drawings. And gesture drawings are really lovely because they're supposed to be brief. They're supposed to have almost no detail. And so you don't need to spend a lot of time on them, a lot of time putting detail on them. So I'm going to do a gesture drawing of myself. You ready? So really, it's a lot like a stick figure, and I'm gonna do this so I have a little something extra to go on. So I've got my head there, the curve of my spine there, my shoulders, my arm, and maybe my wrist. Maybe I'll add a little bit of hair because why not? So that is a gesture drawing. It is just getting the bare basics of the thing that you're drawing. It looks a lot like a stick figure. It's really fluid and you can do it very quickly. All right. And so if you're playing along, I am going to find a picture of a bird for us to use, and I'm going to share my screen. And I'm also going to check and see if I can find a place to view your comments, because I would really love to see what you're all asking. There we go. Okay, so you can see my screen and you can see me, I hope. How about we do a gesture drawing of this chickadee? Let's open image in a new tab. Let's go look at that tab. All right, so we've got a chickadee there. And I'm gonna grab a new piece of paper. So my gesture drawing for this chickadee is going to start with a circle. I'm going to add a line for the tail. The head is, this chickadee is, it's got its head snuck in. Its neck is very short right now. Birds have really cool long necks, so they're able to, their whole body looks like it changes shape a little bit when they move their neck position. And they have, this guy has just a tiny little beak right there, and a little dark eye, leg, feet, other feet, wing. I think that's my gesture drawing of a chickadee. Let me pause for just a second so I can see where on earth the comments are. Because it would be great to be able to see what you guys are asking. I can't find them. Oh no. Oh. That's okay. So we are going to keep on going, keep on trucking. We have this quick little gesture drawing of this chickadee, and I think we should do some more gesture drawings. And I'm going to go back to this page. I'm going to close out of this, and I'm going to find this little dude, little chickadee, chickadoo-dah. Open image in a new tab. We're going to do another one, and this gesture drawing, let's give ourselves 30 seconds for this drawing. Okay, so if you're drawing along, we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1, go. And I'm gonna draw it a little smaller on my page because we're gonna do a few right in a row. Oh boy, we have 15 seconds left. And 5 seconds. Stop. Okay, so this is what 15 seconds or 30 seconds looks like for my chickadee. Real fast, really, really fast. Let's do another one that is just 10 seconds, all right? This one is gonna feel so much faster than that 30-second one. Are you ready? On your marks, get set, go. Oh gosh, you know what? It's really hard to draw and keep track of time at the same time. So this one might not be an exact 10 seconds. Okay, there's what I'm calling 10 seconds. If anyone's keeping track, I'm sorry. Okay, so we did a 10-second one. Let's do one more 10-second one just to get more warmed up. All right, so we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1, go. And it looks like my proportions are a little bit off right now. Oop, that's all I got in 10 seconds. Oh, that was a rough one for me. While I'm looking at these gesture drawings, I'm trying to measure the proportions of this bird. So for example, I hope you can see where my mouse is. I might measure how many head length the body is. So it looks like from here to here is about from there to there, and also from there to there. So there's 2 head lengths in the body of a chickadee. And you can use body parts to measure against other body parts so that the bird is all correctly proportioned. And a gesture drawing is a really good place to start measuring like that, especially if you're trying to do a more refined drawing, so that you can really get the proportions correct while you're working on this quick sketch. And then you don't have to worry about it so much when you're trying to add in all those details later. Okay, let's go crazy and do 2 5-second gesture drawings, because this bird is sitting very still for us. And when we get over to the bird feeders, they won't be sitting quite so still. All right, so are you ready for a 5-second gesture drawing? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, start. And stop. That was not much time at all. So all I managed to get in is this line showing where, like, the angle that the body is sitting at. And I got a little bit of head and a line for the beak, and that was it. I'm going to get a larger piece of paper to start showing you how I might go into a little bit more detail. And let me put that away. I'm going to try one more place to see if I can find questions, because I want to see what you're saying. Here, oh, yeah, here we go. Let's see if I can view it. Excellent. Sharon says, how do I get my kids to stop laughing at my drawing attempts? Beautiful. I'm so glad. You just let them laugh. You got to laugh at yourself too. That's good. Okay, let's try and draw this blue jay. This one's going to be exciting, and I'll check back in on the questions in just a minute. So keep typing them in if you can. There we go. All right, so we've got another larger bird to draw. And when I draw anything, I try to break it down into basic shapes. And a really great resource for drawing birds is John Muir Laws. So he's an artist, and he does a lot of nature drawings, landscapes, plants, and birds. And he has some really good books about how to draw birds specifically, but also nature journaling. And the way he does this is to first draw one line that's going to sort of capture the position of the bird. And I might need to draw 2 lines for this. So my bird, this blue jay here, its body is sort of at a line like that. And I'm going to draw the body in as an oval, and you can adjust this as you go. So there's the body for the oval for the body. And this tail is sticking up at a pretty crazy angle for a blue jay. So I'm going to add that line in for the tail. Next, I'm going to add in a circle for the head. And it's pretty easy for people to make bird heads too big. So be aware of that. Same with beaks and feet. People tend to exaggerate those because they're so cool. So I'm going to add in a circle for this bird's head. And then I'm going to add in a little line for its beak. And keep on drawing, even if it starts to look a little wonky, because this is just practice, and you can always change it later, unless you're working with a charcoal pencil, and then you're stuck. All right, so once I have these lines sort of the way I want them, I can check my proportions. So I might measure how many head lengths are in the body, how many head lengths are in the tail, or I might measure how long the tail is as compared to the body. And it all looks pretty good to me, especially considering we're just doing a quick sketch right now. Then I might add in a few more details. So I could block out the shape of the beak. And beaks are pretty important for birds because it's, like a sparrow beak is very different from a warbler beak. But their beaks aren't really that much different in size. So you kind of have to get the angles pretty precise for them to look realistic. But again, realistic isn't necessarily the goal we're shooting for here. Can anyone hear my kid? He's struggling to take a nap right now. So I'm going to add the crest in like this, really sketchy like, and the curve of the belly. And this bird is pretty fluffed up. Maybe it was taken in the winter, this picture. because when birds are cold, they like to fluff their feathers up. It helps them capture some heat. And I'm going to just add a little quick line in for the wing there. Another one over there. And blue jays, let's see. It's a good idea to check where the eye is in relation to the line of the beak. So when I say the line of the beak, I mean the line in the middle of the beak that divides where it opens and closes. And this blue jay's eye sits right on top of that line. So I'm going to block it in right there. And they have a cool little black eye stripe. They've got this here. Oh, I think my crest needs to be a little bigger. Maybe my head needs to be bigger too. See how I'm adjusting as I go? It doesn't have to be perfect. You're not going to get it right on the first time. Or if you are, you're a very accomplished artist. Oh, this head looks a little wonky. So that is typically how I block in a bird. And this is a very loose sketch. And this, I think, might need to come down there. Well, anyways, you get the idea about how basic shapes can be blocked in and turned into the bird that you're looking at. All right, so I think we should all practice breaking this down into shapes. And maybe you are drawing along with me. So how about we pick a new bird to look at? And I wish this would scooch back up there. Excellent. Let's do a different blue jay. How about we do, oh, I wish I could hear you all saying, to the left, to the left. No, right. Let's do this one. And open in a new tab. Okay, that's a pretty lovely blue jay. And let me go pop back over and check the comments. Can you make your screen bigger? I can't, I'm sorry. Nancy, I wish I could. We are not really made for this setup. We're working on getting better equipment for doing live internet videos and stuff, but usually I teach in person. Okay, so we're gonna break this bird up into shapes again. So remember, start with the line for the posture of the bird, and this bird is sitting fairly upright. Then begin with the oval for the body, and maybe a line for the tail, which is on this bird very similar to the line of the body. Now this bird has its head much higher. Remember that chickadee had its head all shrunk down very close to its body? This one has extended its neck a bit. So I think, let's see, there are two head lengths, head and neck, one here, down to the feet. So I think this circle is in a pretty good spot, at least to get started with. And it has its crest down, so I can add that little droop there. Cool. And a nice little swoop of the neck. And that rounded breast there. Lovely. All right. And I'm just going to add in line for the wing there, a little line for that wing coasting along there. And the tail, the way it's positioned right here, it looks a bit like a raindrop. It's a bit wider at the base. Get the undertail coverts there. A little suggestion of a foot. Confession, I hate drawing bird feet. I like it if I am focused only on the bird feet and I'm making a very detailed drawing of just the bird feet, because then I can really focus on them and zero in on them. But if I am just drawing a bird, I really struggle with knowing how much detail to put into the feet. It's hard for me. Okay, so here we have a very loose, basic sketch of a blue jay. All right, and I know that this class is called Drawing Birds from a Feeder, but I think that practicing on still birds is really important, because the more you know about a blue jay, the more you're familiar with the proportions of the body and how they position themselves when they're sitting or flying or even preening. It'll be a lot easier to capture that quickly when you're looking at it on a feeder. So practicing with still pictures like this is a great way to get started. It's not cheating. It's really useful. All right, so we've got this. Let me pop back over to the comments real quick. And then I think we're going to get started on a real bird. Ooh, Susan says she got a drawing that looks like a bird. Awesome. That's great. You can't beat that. Well, it's hard to ask questions about what you want. How about we do one more bird, but we do it quicker, one more still bird. So I'm going to go find another blue jay because they're so fun. Let's do this one because it's in a really weird position. All right, there we go. Nice and big. Can I not grab that there? Perfect. As big as I can go. All right, so we're going to draw this one. Let's draw it for 30 seconds, okay? And I'm going to do my best to actually watch the clock this time and not draw the whole time. Okay, let's get your new paper ready, and we're going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so I got the line in for the body. I've got the ball in for the head. I've got a line in for the tail. My tail is too long, I think, but you know what? We only have about 10 seconds left, so I can't worry about that right now. I've got an open beak. It's kind of a large beak. And I've got, kind of a squirrely eye. And stop. Okay, that was all I was able to do in 30 seconds. But now that I have the basic proportions and the body shape in, I can probably, without looking at the bird anymore, add in where I think the legs should be. I think there was a branch going maybe like that. And I can definitely add in where the wing is. So when birds are at the feeder, you should focus on watching the bird and getting as much detail as you can in your brain, not on the paper. And then that really quick 5, 10, 30-second sketch is probably all you're going to get until they fly away. But because you were spending more time observing and less time drawing, you'll be able to add those details in later when you're just waiting for the bird to come back. All right, let me go peek at the comments again. And now I think we're ready for some live birds, right? That'll be fun. So I'm going to head over to the Cornell All About Birds webpage, and they have all sorts of nest cameras. There's lots of feeder cams. Oh, I accidentally clicked something. Touchy mouse pad. All right, so these are the different nest cameras. There's barred owls, red-tailed hawks, the northern royal albatross I was talking about before, some petrels, all sorts of stuff. And today we're going to do the Feeder Watch webcam. So this is just on the bird feeders out at out at Cornell. And this is what they have going on live. It looks like a squirrel. Oh, and a mourning dove. Excellent. All right, so I'm just going to draw and talk to you while I'm drawing. And if you are able to see the screen large enough, you can draw along with me. Otherwise, hopefully you'll be able to pick up some tips while you're here. So there's 2 different ways you can approach this. Well, there's a lot, but two major ways. The first way is to only draw the birds or animals and just sort of place them anywhere on your paper and just make it a sketch of the wildlife that you're seeing. The other way would be to sketch out the bird feeders first, or block them in, and then only draw birds perched on the bird feeders. So there's a red-winged blackbird over in one corner right now. I might choose that I'm going to draw a red-winged blackbird there. And whenever the blackbird leaves, I'll stop drawing it. And when it comes back, I will draw it. That takes a bit more forethought, and it would be something I would do if I wanted to build more complete sketches of these birds. But really, I just want to do quick stuff right now. So I'm going to do a quick one of the squirrel because it's being so nice and still. So it's got a long line for its body, and it has a nice wide fat oval. It's got this fantastic tail, keeping it warm today. Looks a little, it was raining earlier in Ithaca when I checked the webcam. Got its head down here. And really, it's very appropriate that we're drawing squirrels during our drawing birds from bird feeder lesson because squirrels are always at my bird feeder. And you see how that squirrel, it turned a little bit? So I think I'm going to pause on this drawing and then come back to it when that squirrel is back in the position that I want. So I'm even gonna start on a new page so I can keep drawing large. Oh, that squirrel looks so cute when he peeks his head up. Now I think I might wait for another bird to pop in because that blackbird back there, I can't really see it very well, but I could keep going on the squirrel. Squirrels have really large eyes for the size of their bodies. I think I made him have his nose too high up, so I brought it back down a little bit there. Excellent. Oh, red wing. And he's behind the feeder. Ah, come on. I'll work on my squirrel. Ooh, hey, Grackle. Come down. It's funny how there's so much bird activity, but nobody's in view right now. Okay, we got a quick Grackle. It's spinning on the feeder. So I'm going to draw it in really quickly, get that big, long boat tail. Well, it's not a boat tail Grackle, but it's got a huge, huge tail. And Grackles have very, very big beaks for their size, I think anyways, at least for feeder birds. All right, so we got one Grackle there. Let's see, another one. Ooh, something big just landed on top of the feeder. Did you see the way it bounced? This one, you can't see its tail the way it's positioned or its head. Maybe I'll draw on the feeder just so I know what's going on. Cool. Ooh, we have starlings. I bet nobody ever said that. These starlings get a bad rap, but I really like them. My hand's a little bit in the way here, sorry. Oh, so this starling that I was drawing flew away to a different feeder. So I'm gonna abandon the sketch until the starling comes back. And maybe I'll go down here and draw it. So it's holding on in a really crazy way with its legs. And it moved again. So I have another abandoned sketch there. Hey, there's a blue jay. This is getting crazy, everyone. What are we gonna do? Oh, let me check the time. So it's already 1:05. Very cool. What is hiding back here? Another Grackle. Oh, I like how this iridescence on this one is really showing, and I like how I can see the wings. Sort of like the shoulder blade area between the wings there. Woo. And they all flew away. What's going on? Looks like a cardinal's flying around in the back. Another cool thing about this webcam is I have the sound turn off right now, but usually you can hear all the birds that are calling. So this is a great way to practice learning bird calls, especially if you don't have access to bird feeders or the outdoors right now. I know a lot of people who live in cities can't really get outside in a safe way. Well, all the birds are gone, so I'm going to go back to that squirrel. So a webcam like this would definitely be a great way to work on your bird calls, and it would be in a very organic way. You know, sometimes, come on, squirrel. Sometimes, you know, when I'm listening to them on my iPod or something, it's a little hard to make it feel natural because you know what you're calling up, and you don't have that habitat context to really help you learn the calls. So I like learning bird calls through webcams too. Susan says she's having trouble with the front leg of the squirrel. How do you block it in? Ooh, well, it's tricky because on that view, it was a great question. Thank you for asking that. And there's no squirrel now to talk about it. I didn't get a good view of the front of the squirrel's front legs. And so a really important thing to remember is to draw what you see and not what you think you see. I'm going to keep drawing that downy woodpecker while we talk. Because our brain kind of knows what it thinks the front leg of a squirrel should look like, right? But we might not actually know. Wow, I'm really having trouble talking and drawing at the same time, huh? uh, so anyways, if you can't see it, you don't have to draw it. You can just suggest it in. So for me, for that squirrel leg, I just added one little line like this. I might do another one like that. And just sort of suggest it. So you get to use your artistic license. You don't have to be fully scientist right now. You can be artist. Wow, look at all these birds. We have grackles, and it looked like, I forgot if it was a hairy or a downy. There's a grackle displaying on the top. We've got a red-bellied woodpecker and starlings. This is very cool. Way better than what's happening at my feeders right now. Red-winged blackbirds, nice. Anyways, draw what you see, not what you think you see. And if you can't see something, you don't have to draw it. So that really, that's really important for bird feet too, and also all the patterning on the birds. If you can't see all of the feathers, you don't have to draw them. If you can only see something in shadow, like I'm going to add a shadow to this bird, pretend all of this was shadowed. I could just block it in like this, and it would be the silhouette of the bird. Things begin to look a little unrealistic when you start adding a lot of detail that you might not be able to see. That looks like a juvenile Baltimore Oriole attaining its adult plumage. Very cool. Maybe this is its second summer. Okay, I'm gonna go for that red-bellied. Black and a really big body. In the back of its head, kind of looks like that. It's got all sorts of great striping that I'm just gonna cross in like that. Maybe 1 foot. Woodpeckers have really cool, I think they're called zygodactyl feet. They have 2 toes pointing forward and 2 toes pointing backward. I love it. And they've got that stout tail that helps them support their weight on the trees. All right. Maybe I'll add some more dark because the back's a little bit dark. Cool. I think while things are a little slow, I might pop over and check some more questions. Janet likes all the feeders. Awesome, me too. There's no other questions. If you guys have questions, type them in. I will get to them. Oh my goodness. I'm working on the technology team. Teaching online is a lot different than teaching in a classroom with a pile of kids or adults. Very different. Oh, there's the questions over here. Okay. Love it. So I'm going to go back to the feeder. I'm going to keep drawing, and I'm going to keep talking through while I draw. Of course, there's no birds on the feeder. Oh, I see some geese in the background. I see a lot of bird poop. A chickadee. Hey, chickadee. And a redwing. Beautiful. My squirrel is totally gone. Let's see if I can. Oh, we'll do that redwing down there. Oops, I paused it. Panama fruit feeders. All right, we might have to jump to a different location soon. Well, I started a red-winged blackbird there, and then it flew away. I think it's really cool too to notice the epaulet feathers on the red-winged blackbirds. Those are those red feathers that they flash all the time. They can hide them if they want to. Whoa, did anybody see what just came in and knocked that feeder? That was wild. Very uncoordinated, I think. So those red-winged blackbirds, they can uncover their red epaulet feathers when they're trying to be dominant and display and say, hey, this is my territory, back off. Or maybe, hey, ladies, come find me. But then when they're trying to be less aggressive, less dominant, they can cover those with their black body feathers. And so they become more subordinate when they do that. And they can sneak into larger male's territory, not larger, tougher. I'm going to get that grackle on the top before it leaves. And you know what? I should be drawing those lines for the body postures because this one probably could have used it. So you see how here I keep refining the shape until it's right. So these lines out here are probably too large. And if I was working with pencil, I might consider erasing them after I get my final sketch in. But because I'm working with charcoal, it's a little bit harder to erase. Hey, squirrel. cute little ears. We have a lot of squirrels in my yard right now with very white ears. And I think they look so fancy. And my kid, he'll be 3 in less than a month. He named all of our squirrels David Pooh Bear. So we always say hi, David, to the squirrels when they're on our bird feeder. And we took our baffle down because we just love him so much. All right, so we've got one squirrel. I wish he would bring his tail up. Whoa, Chickadee almost hit the camera. Very cool. I will sneak this away so we can maybe get that red-bellied in here. Hey, goldfinch. It wasn't a chickadee, that was a goldfinch. I'm being crazy. That little squirrel. So I've got a few abandoned sketches on my paper right now. That was a red-bellied that flew away. This one was a red-winged blackbird. Well, it didn't fly away, it changed position. So now I'm gonna work on this red-bellied. I think it needs a little larger head. Cool. Got its beak there. And if I wanted, I could start drawing in some of the bird feeder bits just to give it some context about where their feet are, what their heads are doing. And this squirrel still hasn't brought its tail up. Come on. I love drawing squirrel tails. Get up here. Now our woodpecker is totally on its side. You need a new piece of paper. Sorry, squirrel. A blue jay, excellent. Oh, you're too quick. So you might have noticed that I'm focusing on the birds that are being a little more cooperative. The goldfinches are just darting around like crazy, and I am not ready for that today. My brain is not there. So instead, I'm focusing on the squirrel and the grackles and the woodpeckers that are a little bit calmer, maybe stay in their position for a little bit longer. But if you want, you can get crazy and start drawing those little ones. Janet says she's having a challenge making your screen larger. I know. We are trying to figure out the best setup for this kind of lesson. And right now, this is the best we have. So if there's any techies out there who are interested in helping us figure out a better solution for this, please send us an email. I would love that. Ah, it's gone. So maybe I can reuse this on a different bird because that's a waste of a piece of paper right there. Although I'm just drawing on computer paper, so it's not that bad. And really, I shouldn't be using that mentality because you gotta blow through some paper to get some good drawings, and they're not all going to be good. In fact, a lot of them are going to be awful. And so you just got to use the paper so that you have the practice. Chickadees are more like that. Woo, they're so fast. Oh, I can use this for a goldfinch. Well, they have those great wing bars. I did not include them on the sketch. All right. Oh, look at you, starling, hanging onto the side. Very cool. And you're gone. It's all right. I can start that again later when it comes back. Chickadee, or not chickadee. I think I keep calling goldfinches chickadees. I promise I can ID those birds. I'm just all absorbed in the drawing, which is ironic because I said that drawing makes me a better observer, huh? Oh, I also really enjoy watching all the birds that are happening in the background. The geese and the redwings sitting on the little shrubby things behind the bird feeders. They're just lovely. Oh, hey. All right. We got a downy woodpecker has left. Been replaced by a grackle. Let me pop over and check the questions again. Does anybody have any more questions? Nope. That's okay. Well, what do we think? Should we try a new feeder or should we spend another minute here? Trying to think of what else I can share. When I am watching my bird feeder at home, sometimes I will just draw right from the feeder using my eyes. Other times I will I'll set up a spotting scope. And I know not everybody has a spotting scope, but if you can find some way to, prop your binoculars up or set them on a tripod, even like a stack of books with your binoculars on it, so you can just peek in like this, draw, and then move back to looking at it. It really helps to have your hands free when you're drawing. It's just one less thing to think about. All right, this camera just not exciting me anymore. So I'm going to go and try to find a different webcam for us to watch. Let's look at video highlights. What do we think? You're going to see Arthur delivering a gosling to the Cornell hawk nests. I think so. Let's do it. Let's draw a hawk. Let's make it big. Okay, so this is the red-tailed hawk nest cam that Cornell has, and this is not live anymore. And I'm going to draw one. Oh, I was just going to draw the female on the nest, but Papa came back way too fast. I'm going to do a few small sketches. There's his head. And his wings were back this way. His body was there. I think his tail was visible up top. And you see how he keeps moving his head around? You can draw the rest of his body or his legs while his head is moving, and then just come back to the head when he gets back in the position you were in. So I've got that one picture of him there. Maybe I'll go back to the picture I started of her. While she was sitting on the nest. And she is basically an amorphous blob except for her face, because she's just sitting there. Ah! She stood up. Lies. No longer is she an amorphous blob. She has become a red-tailed hawk mama. And that is a gosling, a very grisly looking gosling, with no face, it looks like. I'm sorry to be laughing at that, but you know what? Red-tail's got to eat too, and those chicks need some food. All right, so now she is bent down like this, and I've got this back wing out here, and all of her feathers are very ruffled right now. It would be fun to draw all of them in, but I don't think we're going to be able to do that, not with the time we have now. But you know what? One of the great things about this is I could make some sketches from what the birds were doing live, and then go online and try to find pictures of birds in similar positions and use them to round out my sketches. So I start with the detail that I can. Oh, bye, Mama. Start with the detail that I can from the sketches, and then move on to adding detail using reference photos. Okay, so now I can draw the chicks because mom is gone. Oh, the video ended. I suppose that's what happens when you use the best of. So let's go shrink it down and hit back. Let's see what else we want to watch. Let's check out what the red-tailed hawks are doing right now. They are live in Ithaca, New York. Let's start it. Ooh, I don't know how useful that view is going to be to us right now. Let's see what Mama does, or Papa. We've got the whole back of the bird there. This is a really lovely view of all of those feathers. And you can just see how they all overlap each other and how rainwater would just fall right off their backs. That's so nice. Not a great view for drawing right now, though, especially since I'm not going to draw all the teeny little feathers. I'm going to peek over at the questions and see if there's anything new. Nope. Cool. Let's go back over to that live cam. Cool. Well, oh, look, it looks like there's a baby robin over in the corner there. It's behind the adult's right side, over on the right side of the cam. Looks like there's a baby robin waiting to be devoured. Again, sad for the robin and the robin parents, but oh, and a squirrel, but very happy for the red-tailed hawks. All right, this view is not working for us. Let's peek back at the other camera. Oh, a lot of action. At least there was. Blue jay. I'm going to draw this red-winged blackbird right here. Need a new pencil. It's getting a little worn down. All right, everybody. I am just about done drawing, mostly because I am about out of paper in the stack. And it's almost been an hour. So if you have any last-minute questions, please type them in because I would love to answer them before we leave. And if you have more, if you're not asking or watching live and you still have questions, type them in because we will see them and we'll get back to you. And if you would like more drawing classes like this, drop a little note in about that too. Or if you have other topics that you'd like a landscape or a botanical illustration, we can do that. I may have made that eye a little big. That's okay though, just a sketch. This red-bellied woodpecker, I want to make a note that these are not drawn to scale because a red-bellied woodpecker is totally larger than a red-winged blackbird. Oh, look at it hammering away at that suet. That's awesome. Birds are so cool. Went too big there. That's okay. That squirrel is just, I don't think it's changed position since it showed up. Its tail's still down. It's just chomping on that food. That's great. Cool. Maybe I'll do one more squirrel face just because I like the angles. Get those little ears in there. Ah, you moved. The other nice thing about drawing from bird feeders, either inside or on a webcam, is when I say things like, ah, you moved, I'm not scaring birds away. So it's kind of like being in a blind because the birds in Ithaca clearly can't hear me or respond to me, which is nice. Okay, so I am about done drawing. I'm going to pop back over to the questions, see what else we got. Oh, Susan, I'm glad you had fun. Yeah, if you were drawing today, Susan said that she'd love to see a gallery of everybody's work. If you were drawing today and you want to take a picture and share it in the comments, that would be really fun. I would love to see everybody's work. And let's see if I can exit my other Zoom meeting. Yeah, if I can leave there. Computer. There we go. I'm sorry if you couldn't hear me for a little while. Maybe you can hear me now. Okay, so everybody, I want to say thank you for joining me today. It was really fun drawing with you. And all of our education programming is free, both for, well, a lot of our education programming for adults is free. Some of it we do charge a little bit, but most of it's free. And all of these online videos are free. And if you have found them lovely and useful and want to help support us so that we can continue to bring these to you, I'm going to drop a little line in the comments about how you can make a donation. Any little bit helps. We appreciate it. So keep your eyes on our Facebook page, on our webpage for announcements of more classes. People in the comments were asking for
botanical illustration, something that was a little bit still, not like these moving birds. And so when we have classes like that coming up, we'll post them so you can all join. All right, everybody, thank you so much. Happy drawing. Get outside, enjoy some nature if you can, and if not, use a webcam because they're lovely. All right, thank you.